Inside every child is something special. A voice waiting to be heard, a gift waiting to grow, a dream waiting for someone to believe in it. But many children never get the chance to discover what they can truly become. So, this is where it begins. Welcome to Prodigy Squad. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the very first episode of Prodigy Squad. I am your host, Joy Baye, and this platform was created for just one reason. Every child has a talent, but not every child has a platform. Whether you're into arts, music, technology, writing, sports, public speaking, or something the world hasn't seen yet, Prodigy Squad is here for you. Today's question is one that matters to every parent, every teacher, and every young person watching. Why do so many children hide their talents? And what can we do about it? So let's get right into the conversation, as I will be bringing up a guest that is quite vast when it comes to nurturing talent in children as we discuss this issue right here in the studio. All right. Our very first guest on the Prodigy Squad podcast, she has over 11 years of experience working with children in international schools, working with children outside even the academic settings. And, looking at the topic we're discussing, what is limiting children in our society from, displaying their talent, sharing with each and every one of us the unique talents that they have. So she's going to be telling us what are those factors. From her experience, she has worked with children. She has seen children that have displayed their talents, some that are not even displaying their talents. So she's in the right position to tell us more about this very topic. So without talking too much, I have right here in the studio with me, Mrs. Susan. I'm so excited to have you on the very first episode of the podcast because this is something we're not going to forget at Springtimes Media. Our very first guest, Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you so much for having me.
It's a delight to have you here.
Same here.
So thank you very much once again, Ma.
Thank you so much.
Let's go straight to the conversation that we have. So many children hide their talents, right?
Very true.
So, what holds these young people back from expressing themselves? What are the factors? And also, is it the school setting? Is it parents? Is it the society? This is just my own talk now. So, I want to know, what are the factors holding back? You agree with me that children are talented? So many children are talented, right?
A lot of kids are talented, especially in Nigeria. We have lots of talented kids all over Nigeria, spread it across. We really do have.
So what do you think is limiting our kids from displaying their talents?
Okay, thank you very much for that question. Actually, from my little observation about children and of course my years of experience in the educational space, a lot of factors actually limit children from bringing out their talent. But the first on my list that I've seen over time is the fear factor. The fear of being judged, the fear of probably, okay, what if I do it and I don't do it right? What if I do it and it doesn't even strive? What if I do it and then the people around me do not appreciate it? What's going to happen? So that fear of what's going to happen to it if it fails makes them not to even want to try at all.
Wow.
You get to see children, especially those of them in the teenage age, for the girls especially, they would have a very beautiful talent. I've seen a child who is so artistic. She loves to draw. She can just sit, she's sketching one thing or the other. And then when you tell her, oh, you can frame this and it will make a lot of money for you, like, money? How? It doesn't even look good. Oh no, I don't think it will be nice. Oh no, I don't know. It looks like they are shy.
Yeah.
But I don't think it's shyness. It goes beyond shyness. It's just fear of acceptance. Do you understand what I'm saying? So it just keeps them in that cocoon.
That box,
It just puts them in that box and then they find it difficult to come out. That's one factor. And I always tell children that if you're able to conquer your fears, you will go far. You will do a lot. You will be able to pull the weights that you need to pull to get to that limelight. Another factor again is family pressure. You know, especially for some of us who came from the learned space in quotes. You know, if you're not a lawyer, if your child comes and what do you want to be? If the child is not saying I want to be a lawyer or a doctor or an engineer, the child is not serious. You know, when you hear a child saying, "Oh, I want to be a footballer," okay, except for now that parents are beginning to see great light in football.
Yeah.
But you see a child who, a parent, and then the child says, I would love to be a content creator. I'm like, content what? What are you doing
But do you
there?
know I can be a doctor and I'm still and I can still be a content creator. So
Of course.
the essence of this show is actually to tell kids that you can actually pair the two together. I can be a lawyer now and I can still be an artist.
Of course.
I'm a lawyer,
Of
right?
course, of
you know,
course.
so I can be even an engineer and I'm in the media space.
Of course.
So
You know, we have lots of professionals like doctors, engineers, and the rest, and they're also content creators, and they simplify their field of study to make it so easy for a layman to understand what it's about. You know, I've had times where I'm confused about a medical term and then I'm trying to figure out what it means. I'm not getting it. And then I go online and I see there's this guy online, he's a content creator, but he's also a doctor. And then the way he just simplifies it and explains to them, like, oh, this is what it is talking about. But most parents do not really appreciate that fact. If they want your child to be a doctor, they want the child to be a full-time, just focus on being a doctor. Nothing more than being a doctor and all of that. So you see these kids, because their parents are not supportive, because their parents have made them feel or have built this mindset in them that if you are toying towards the path of skills, if you are toying towards the path of trying to bring your talent into limelight, it will make your academics suffer. Most parents don't understand that with proper mentoring, with proper guidance, these two can actually work together. You know, I've seen lots of in my little time in the educational space, like I've always said, I've seen few parents who have this understanding that passion on one hand, talent on one hand, academics on the other hand, they run with it. They merge it together, and these kids do well academically. They do so well academically. They do so well socially. They do so well every aspect. They are just complete. So parents need to understand that these kids can actually do it together, and then they shouldn't be part of the reasons why these children's talents do not come to limelight.
Right.
So parent factor is another reason why these children get limited, why these talents are hidden and they don't come out. Another factor I would also love to talk about is the lack of support. Yeah. You know, Nigeria is a blessed country.
Yeah.
It's a blessed country. We see a lot of people. Sometimes these parents, not as if they do not want their child to develop their talent, but the resources needed to actually bring these talents into something tangible is also a challenge. You know, I had a time when my boy loves to play football, and then I remember one time I was telling my neighbor that, oh, I don't like them playing ball in the compound and then throwing their ball to the neighbor's house and then causing unnecessary issues and here and there. So let me just take them to a proper field and then let them just develop there and all of that. And then I remember my neighbor was like, oh, but how much is it going to cost? And then by the time I told her the cost and everything, she was like, I want my son to play this ball too, but I don't know. By the time I pay his fees, I feed, and then I pay. So to them, they feel like this is something we can actually do away with.
Yeah.
You know, when you see the bills piling up, you see the financial pressure and struggle you have to go through to make these children comfortable. You just think to, okay, let's keep these aside. Let's let this thrive, you know. So they focus, not because they do not want to, do you understand? But because they do not have the resources to the best of their ability to be able to help these children to strive. And then some of the kids that are, I don't want to use the word quite unfortunate, but some of the kids that are not so privileged to live with their parents, you see them, they are also very talented. But of course, that uncle is not ready to spend extra money, you know, and then you see them just there hoping that help will come from somewhere.
Somewhere.
You know, I went to an orphanage home one day day and I saw this child. He was a very good dancer. He dances so well. And we're just trying to encourage them. And it's okay, why not? Somebody just you have an Android phone, any phone at all. Create a page for this boy. Let him dance there. You don't know the next, maybe cafe or somebody that would just see him, pick him up and then help him build his talent and all that. But, you know, the orphanage administrator wasn't keen into the vision.
Yeah.
So it was difficult, you know, for it to strive.
I think from my own end, you just hit the points that's on my mind. I've seen several talented children, and what hold them back is actually the parents, the guardian, not having the vision.
True. Very true.
What the current society needs.
True. I agree with you.
And because they're not up to date that, okay, the society, what thrives in our society now is you being able to merge your skills with your academic performance.
Yes.
So that's on that key area we're going to be discussing over time on this program, because the whole idea is that we want to nurture talents.
Very good.
We want to create opportunities.
Good.
We want to help children kill their fear, and we want to help even their parents, their guardians, to understand the vision of what the society is all about right now when it comes to nurturing talents in those young ones and not finding the right opportunity for them. I may not have the money, but there are opportunities that can help train my child.
Yeah, true. Very
Do you
true.
understand?
Very true.
So we need to make people understand that this is very possible. And if this begins to happen, I believe we'll have less of people going to school, becoming graduates and no job. We'll have less of kids that will stay and I can't go to school because there's no money.
Because there's no money.
And meanwhile, you have a bunch of talent in
you. Seriously.
That can actually fund your academic
effortlessly. Yes.
So this is why we're here for you. And we're just starting. We don't want to bombard you with too many information at the very first episode.
One last reason why kids are limited, the school environment.
Okay, yeah.
I have worked in several schools in Abuja, in Nigeria, in general. I've worked in like 4 different states. Wow. So I've been able to have firsthand about what the school environment can be like when it comes to appreciating talent. And this is not me trying to make Abuja look so good, but from my little experience around the states of Nigeria I've worked, I noticed that for Abuja tries their best to enhance talent. They find most of the schools have been able to get that vision that it's not just about academics. Do you understand? So it goes beyond children having to do well in maths, do well in English, and they'll be celebrated for it. Schools in Abuja, from my observation, tend to celebrate talents like acting. You know, you get an award for being the best actor.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, you get an award for being the best dancer.
Oh, nice.
You get an award for being the best artist. You know, these are things that you don't find in some rural areas. Do you understand me? You don't get to see that in some rural areas. So imagine the faith of the kids in those kind of environments.
And that's why we're here.
Sure.
Prodigy Squad is not just going to be on your screen.
Sure.
We're coming right to the local environment.
Good.
And that's how we're going to be nurturing talent and creating opportunities.
Very good.
That's one thing that we're going to be doing right on the Prodigy Squad show. We're going to be going right into the local environment, discovering those talents, nurturing them, creating the opportunities for them so that they can run and fulfill their destiny.
That would be so fantastic, I must say.
Thank you so much, Madam Susan.
Thank you so much.
Thank you enough. Before we go, remember this. Your talent matters. Your voice matters. Your idea matters. Never be afraid to learn, to create, and to shine. To parents, what talent does your child have? Send us your videos, tell us your story, because the next Prodigy Spotlight could be your child. So look under the screen, you'll see our email address, our social media platforms where you can send us these videos. Thank you for joining us on episode 1 of Prodigy Squad. Keep learning, keep growing, and keep shining.